hit them. Drop by, give it to them. You know what it is when you hear that.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new to my channel and you like my content, please subscribe. So as some of you know, I am a Lyft driver. I know y'all are thinking like she does everything. I'm a Jill of all trades. I do everything. I've been driving for Lyft for a little over a year now, and I like it. In the beginning I was making really good money because, you know, I was more consistent. Now, you know, it gets tiring after a while, so, you know, I'm not as on it as I was. But anyway, although it's been great, sometimes you have those people where the situations are awkward or crazy or whatever the situation may be. So today I'm going to be sharing with you one of my creepiest Lyft rides that I've had. So usually when I'm on a normal schedule, like I like to do Lyft before work and after work. And since I work in the evening, like that kind of works with my schedule. So on this particular night, I got off work at 9 o'clock. At the time, Lyft was doing a trial to where you can see where the person is going. So normally what happens is a ride will come in, you don't see where they're going, you accept the ride, and then you go and you don't know where the person is actually going until they get in your car and you hit the button that, you know, you've picked this person up. So how it worked when Lyft was doing this trial was the ride would come in, you will see like generally where the person is going, and it will have like a little note saying this person is going like 10 minutes away, 15 minutes away. So it's 9 o'clock, I'm just getting off work. A ride comes in and it says that this person is going 30 minutes away. You definitely want to catch big fares like that because it's more money. So had it been like this person is going 4 minutes away, I just would have been like, you know, I'll just go ahead and go home. But I'm like, okay, 30 minutes, let me go ahead and, you know, go get this person. So I finally arrived to the destination, and there is a police officer and a woman like just standing outside of a bar. Initially, I think, okay, maybe this is my person, you know, let me go ahead and pull up by them. So I did, and they were just talking, and so I'm kind of like, okay, you know, and I've already pushed that I've arrived, so I'm like, you're still talking, you know, I'm here. So I'm just waiting for like a whole good minute, like for them to realize like, okay, I'm here, I'm your Lyft. Like you can usually tell like whose Lyft it is. For some reason I just knew. They wasn't even like really facing me. They were like facing each other, but they were like in front of me. So finally they stopped talking and they approached my car. So the police officer walks her to my car and opens the door for her and, you know, let her in. Automatically I'm thinking like, okay, this is about to be crazy. Like, I don't know. For some reason, I just know when something is about to be crazy. I know when something is about to be weird or when someone is about to be weird. So she ends up dozing off in the back seat. Like I could hear her breathing. She wasn't like snoring, but I could hear her like breathing. So she was asleep. So I'm like, you know, no problem. This ride is 30 minutes. So, you know, you probably drunk. Go ahead and, you know, enjoy yourself. So I'm driving and driving and driving. So fast forward to 30 minutes. 30 minutes later, you know, I'm finally at the destination. We're just going to call her Jane. Okay. So we get there and I'm like, you know, she's still sleeping. I'm like, Miss Jane, we're at your destination. She wakes up and she looks around and she's like, I don't recognize this place. Girl. I was like, did you put in the right address? And she was like, yeah, I thought so. And so I'm like, okay. And then she goes, oh, I know this place. This is my my brother-in-law's house. So I'm like, okay, so what is actually your address? So she gives me her address and I put it in another 10 minutes away. Okay, no problem. You know, whatever. I'm already, you know, it's 10 minutes. No big deal. So by this time, she's a little more awake and a little bit aware, you know, since she's been napping for 30 minutes. And we're driving. We're kind of like just talking about things. Like people normally ask me what I do for a living and, you know, stuff like that. So she goes, so how is your daughter? And I was like, I don't have a daughter. I don't have any kids. And she was like, oh, I'm sorry. I must have got you mixed up with someone else. But then I'm thinking like, but we just met, like who? I mean, I'm confused. How? What makes this story so creepy, because if I don't tell you this part, you're probably going to be like, okay. What makes this creepy is that, mind you, I have been, at this particular time, I had been watching every day and all day, back to back to back, like crime stories and weird stuff. Like, there's this particular channel on YouTube, and I watch a lot of YouTube. He posts stuff like 5 people that have secretly lived in people's houses and then they were killed by them. 10 people who have killed people and then live with their corpses. So by this time I'm spooked, because I'm like, you know, I don't know what kind of crazy stuff people be doing and what's going on. So my mind is already like on some, you know, weird stuff. And so we finally arrived to her house, and she's like still like kind of dozing off back there. And I'm like, do you need help, Miss Jane? And she's like, no, I got it. And then she dozes off. And I'm like, are you sure? You know, do you need me to help you out of the car? And she's like, no, I'm fine, and then doze off. This goes on for at least like 10 times. So I finally opened my door, because I'm like, if I need to run, if I need to get out of here, or if I need to, you know. So then she starts reaching in her purse, and my door is still open. So I'm like, okay, you know, because I'm also thinking too, like, maybe I need to go around there to like open her door if I have to. So she's still like, no, I don't need help or anything. And then she dozes off again. And then she finally like reaches something out of her purse, and she was like, oh, this is what I was looking for. And she hands me $40. So I'm like, okay, good. You know, Miss Jane, you all right with me. So I'm like exhausted by this point. I'm like, you know, I just got off work. I just did this long ride. I'm ready to just go home. I drive off. I'm driving. I call my fiance and, you know, tell him about this crazy story. Like, oh, you know, I went to this place and it was the wrong address, and, you know, so on and so forth. So I hang up the phone, and next thing I know, I hear laughing in my backseat. And when I tell you I was ready to die that night, I was ready to die that moment, okay? Because I don't know who was laughing in my backseat. It was like this crazy, like, Annabelle doll, like, laughter. So at this point, I'm thinking, like, is this what she meant by how is my daughter? Because who is this laughing in my back seat? Like, who did she leave? What kind of, you know, I'm terrified. Like, I'm surprised that I didn't even, like, wreck. And I'm on the highway. So I, like, looked back to see, like, what that was. And it was her cell phone ringing. Who, guys? Who has that ringtone? Who? So I finally get home, and then, you know, her phone rings again. So I'm like, okay, you know, it's just a ringtone. And it's her neighbor calling saying, oh, you know, she left her phone in the car. Can you return it? And which I did. The next day I went there and I met her and I returned it. Now, the good thing about this story is she wanted me to take her back to her car. So I did. I took her all the way back, you know, 30 minutes away to where I picked her up from to begin with. And she gave me $100. So I'm like, you know what, Miss J, you. So it ended up being a really good ride at the end of the day, like fare wise. But it was just like, that was the creepiest like ride I've ever had to do. So thanks for watching my video today, guys. Please remember to subscribe, please. And I'll see you next time.